Good morning, ladies and gentlemen, everybody of the internet. Welcome to the latest episode in the Project Dramond series. Moving right along, we finalized the casting mechanics for the Church of the Elder Ways last week during our brainstorming session, and that's what today's post is about. Getting folks up to speed on that. Of course, as always, full details are in the Patreon post below for those of you who want to dive into that. But basically, what we're looking at is there's two different I should say, there are two different types of casting taking place in our world. One, of course, is elemental magic, which, since we're basing this off of 5th edition rules, those spells are cast in the traditional manner. Um, so you've got verbal, semantic, so on and so forth. You've got all these different ways in which spells are cast using some form of vocal, verbal, physical, and perhaps a gesture or so component. The Church of the Elder Ways is slightly different because they are using quantum technology. So quantum energy is where they get their power from, and they use quantum technology to tap into the quantum realm and use that energy. Now, the how that takes place is something that was, from a mechanical standpoint, a bit of a, it was a bit of a back and forth in my mind about how I wanted that to happen because we went through, I think, 3 iterations of what Joey and I thought that might look like. Nothing like a good sneeze first thing in the morning. Um, Went through about I think 3 iterations. I don't think I did 4. But looking at all the different ways that that could potentially work. I mean, one of the ways we thought about it was even drastic enough that, if the devices ran out of juice at some point, the user would start taking damage. It would actually start trying to draw power from the user. But we decided that was a little too strict and too hardcore, given that there aren't really any negatives to casting elemental magic. I mean, there are risks involved in some of the higher level spells, things that can go wrong if you roll a 1 or something of that nature, but there's no major penalties to being a magic user. It's just you can use magic and here's how you use it. So that was something we had to reconcile in the creation of the mechanics. So where we're at now is we have a basic casting system in place that works in some ways. In most ways, it works exactly like elemental magic. So um, you know how in 5th edition you have short rests and long rests, and how those your spell recuperation depends on how long you've rested for. Some spells can only be recuperated after a long rest. Others can be recuperated after recovered, I should say, after a short rest, and that does vary. Um, Spells for the Church of the Elder Ways work the same way on paper. However, you also have the physical component. Just as much as you have a physical component for spellcasters, they need bone chips and bat wings and things of that nature. You have to have a relic item to cast a spell or to use quantum energy. And when you look at the old relics, the ones that came from the time before the quantum wars, relics were all sorts of different things because the scientists were infusing any and all objects that they could get their hands on. So, you know, someone might have a pocket watch or a pendant or, you know, a breastplate or a pair of boots, or it could be many different things, a wand, a pen. Um, Now that the church has rediscovered how to create rudimentary relics once again, they're not able to create relics that are as powerful as from the time before, but they have rediscovered that technology through experimentation. They're creating 3 basic types, which are the swords for the paladins, shields for the Templars, and rings for the Inquisitors, and so they are hard at work spinning those items out. Now, no one else can use a relic item to cast. Obviously, only humans can use quantum energy. No Fae has ever been able to master that. Now, it's theorized that there is the potential for the Fae to be able to tap into quantum energy if they were ever trained in the use of those items, but to date, no Fae has ever been trained in the use of a relic item because the church does not accept non-humans into its ranks, not even half-elves, because they are tainted by the blood of the Fae. So humans are the only known entities that can use the quantum devices, and you have to be attuned to your own individual relic to be able to use it. Each individual can only have one relic. Once you're attuned to that relic, it just basically acts as a gateway device that allows you to tap into the quantum realm and use that energy. And similar to how spellcasters start off with only a few spells at their disposal, the Church of the Elder Ways starts off the same way. When you're level 1, you can only do a few things with your device. When you're level 5, you can do more. When you're level 8, you can do more. When you're level 12, you can do more. It grows in power with you. Now, there are downsides to these devices. There are limitations, and there is a specific mechanism in place for how these items need to be recharged after use. I'm not going to talk about that in the video though, because that's for the post for the patron subscribers and for those of you who want to dive into the tabletop campaign. And of course, those of you who are going to be tuning into the playtesting group that kicks off in August, you can watch those sessions to get a glimpse of how this is going to be working. So I'm not going to give that away today, but there is a mechanic in place, how those items need to be recharged. It is specific in nature. And there is a pro and con going here, because the pro con for the wizards, for the Fae, the mages, is that um, they have a lot of spells at their disposal. Any Fae can use magic. It's very accessible, but the limitation is that there aren't that many magic users. On the flip side, with the Church of the Elder Ways, any human can be trained in the use of these devices. So the power that the church has more than anything else is sheer numbers. So that's why when you see patrols going out, it's not 3 or 4. It's 20, 30 of these paladins, templars together. And every single one of them has a relic item at their disposal that they can use to wield power. So they have the power of numbers. And yeah, there's a lot of stuff going on here. I can't wait to share it all with everybody. I don't want to give too much away. I'm already giving away too much. So check out the post below for more information on casting for these guys. And stick around for more information on Project Dramond if you want to know more. We are getting closer, not yet, but we are getting closer to finally choosing a name for all of this. We are waiting until the last possible minute just because we're lazy. We have some ideas in mind, but we don't want to worry about it until we're actually at the point where we're ready to start marketing the product. Once we're ready to start marketing the product, we will come up with a name for it, and we will spin up the associated websites and social media accounts and everything else. And we will also need to form an LLC at that point and actually get our company going. And we've got 4 or 5 names that we're looking at. So all of that's coming down the pipeline. In the meantime, though, we're going to be doing playtesting kicking off on August 4th for the tabletop group. So hopefully you're either going to join or tune in for that. Details are going out in the newsletter shortly. So hopefully you're all staying tuned for that and signed up for the newsletter. Don't forget to subscribe to this channel, hit the bell icon to get updates for more content, and we will see everybody in the next episode.